Welcome to Crate Training 101, what you need to know. So this is just going to be some basics about crate training, some introductions to the crate, what the different types of crates are, all those things that are kind of at the basic level before you really dig into how to crate train your dog. So what is a crate? A dog crate is a rectangular shaped enclosure with a top and a door. Two basic varieties. You have the all wire crate that you can see that little darker colored puppy in, and you have the plastic crate, which is also known as a Very Kennel, which those are sometimes the airline approved crates as opposed to the wires. So there are benefits to both of them. With the plastic crate, they are more enclosed, and for some dogs it's really helpful. For other dogs, they hate it. So they do come in different sizes, and they just have the door in the front. Typically you can take the top off, and they have those little holes on the side of them. They're not always the easiest to clean, but they do trap fur and all that in there a bit more. And again, they're darker, so if your dog ends up liking more of a den-like enclosure, that might be the better option. And the wire crate collapses, so if you need to travel with it a little bit more, if you need to pack it up somewhere, put it away somewhere, put it under a bed, something like that, you can do that. It is a lot more open, so that is one of the benefits to it. Some dogs like that more, some dogs like it less. So why crate train your dog? Most dogs do enjoy the comfort of having a den to call their own. Most dogs like having that option. It can be a really safe spot for them to retreat to when they're stressed out about something. Like if there are kids running around, they need a quiet space to go, or if there's another dog and they're not sure how much they love the other dog. It can be really helpful. And thinking ahead to the future, if your dog becomes a little bit older and you get a new puppy, it's nice to give the older dog a chance to go into a crate. So if you start that now, then you will definitely be there at that point. Also, if you send your dog to the vet's office or something like that, they are going to most likely have to be kenneled. So at some point, they probably will have to be kenneled, even if it's not in your plan. So it is a good idea to at least get your dog as used to the crate as possible. It's also really great for house training. So if you do not have a dog who is already house trained, it can be really helpful because most dogs don't usually pee or poop where they eat or sleep. So as long as the crate is sized appropriately, if it's too big, a lot of times they will go maybe pee in one corner and sleep in the other corner. So we don't want them to have like a 2-bedroom apartment. We want it to be basically a studio apartment until they're house trained, and then it could be bigger after that. And it's great for your own security, knowing that your dog is safe and not being destructive when you are not home. Okay, so it's probably equivalent to like a playpen for a child. You may or may not put them in the crib, but the exercise pen or the crate can act as a nice way to kind of babysit your puppy when you need to go take a shower or need to cook and don't need your dog underfoot, puppy or dog. Okay. So how not to use a crate. Crating should be a temporary training tool. It's not something that you need to rely on forever for multiple hours in a day. Over time, you'll want to gradually reduce your dog's dependence on the crate. These are the dogs where a lot of times you can leave the crate door open and they are just going in and out on their own. So it might be that you want to keep the crate for a long time, but your dog might not need to be closed in the crate on a regular basis for very long. It is not recommended that the dog be regularly left home alone all day in the crate. So your dog really does need that exercise. So maybe hiring a dog walker, pet sitter, something like that would be an option if you do have to work long hours and your dog has to be crated. Your crate should not be used as a punishment tool. So it's a place for safe downtime. So can it be used as a timeout area? Sure. However, we need to make it really positive prior to being able to do that. And the timeout is 1 minute or less. It is not, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. That's more time off for us. And that's okay, but you have to have a dog who already loves the crate and you give them something good to do in the crate, like a chew toy or something like that. Because usually if they're needing a timeout for that long, it's because they need maybe a little bit of decompression or they need to be redirected to doing something more appropriate rather than jumping on you, chewing on you, counter surfing, stuff like that. Okay, so it should not be used to seclude your dog from something. We want to make it nice and positive first. What type of crate should you use? So again, going back to this, a plastic crate provides more of a den-like atmosphere, but it's not as easy to travel with, and it's darker, so your dog can't see out as well. But again, some dogs do like that. A wire crate easily folds up, is more open, less like a den, but you could always put a sheet or something over it to help with that portion of it. So I personally prefer the wire crate. Because I can cover it up. Sometimes I will use a plastic crate in the car, though, because then they can't see out the window quite as easily. So if I'm having any reactivity issues, it helps with that. Where should you keep the crate? It's important to avoid making the dog feel punished or banished to somewhere else, like in the basement or something like that. You want to place the crate in or as close to a people area. Select a spot free from drafts and wires or too much heat. And it would be a good idea to have a couple of different crates in commonly used areas so you don't have to move it around. Because a lot of times dogs need a crate in the bedroom versus, or at least upstairs, versus a crate maybe in the main living area or kitchen area. Eventually you might want your dog out of your bedroom so everybody can sleep a bit better. But in the beginning stages, some dogs do better in the bedroom. They don't necessarily want to be left like downstairs in the living room in the dark. So it's up to your puppy. This puppy who is pictured here absolutely wanted to be in the bedroom right next to my bed. So frequently asked questions for crate training. What if my dog is barking in the crate? So unless you think you're dealing with true anxiety, never let a barking or whining dog out because you don't want to teach them that barking gets them freedom. Try to let him out when he's quiet. Sometimes this isn't possible or you need to make a distracting noise, like I have gone as far as to maybe drop a pan on the floor or something like that. Enough where the dog's like, ooh, what was that? And then I can go over to the crate and be like, oh, did you want to come out? That's if I really think the dog needs to come out, or I know I left him in there too long and it's gotten too hard for him and I need some way to get him out. But if it's anxiety, if it's fear, and you let him out, you're not reinforcing fear. You can't do that. So that should help make you feel a little bit better if you do have a dog with that issue. But make a mental note that your expectations might have been too high that time around and you want to take a step back next time. And how often should I use the crate? So do not only shut your dog in the crate when you aren't home. You need to be doing it when you're home, when you're around, when things are going on. You need to do it when it's quiet in the house and when it's louder in the house. And, when there's food around and there's not food around, you need to really vary when you do it so that your dog gets used to being able to sleep through anything. Again, like having a baby where, they say, run the vacuum, do the things, put away the dishes, because you want to get them used to that. You don't want to get them used to, only being able to relax in the crate in dead silence or something like that. And then something happens and all of a sudden they are awake. So you want to get them used to sleeping through everything. So put them in while you're in the area, while you're nearby, doing dishes, eating dinner, cleaning, etc. And then what should I put in the crate? Keeping safety in mind based on your individual dog, give him a comfy bed and a medley of a few favorite chew toys. Rotate the toys regularly so he has something to look forward to. This is really important because your dog will easily get bored with all the toys. You could put in 20 toys, and if they are 20 of the same toys all the time, it will be like they're not even there. Again, kids. You give them the same toys all the time, and they don't want to play with them, but you bring something down from the attic again, and all of a sudden they're exciting again. So you want to really rotate, but also introduce some new ones, because they do know when, I've played with this before, it smells like me. Make sure you wash them every once in a while, stuff like that. And also make your crate the most comfortable spot that they can access. So with this puppy, if I had, the bed there, and I think there were actually a few layers of bedding in there, and I also had the option of the couch for him, he's going to probably choose the couch because the couch is going to be the more comfortable of the two options. If I want to encourage him to be in the crate, I might limit his access to the couch. Maybe put something on the couch or put an exercise pen around the couch, something like that, so that I know that I'm setting myself up for success, setting him up for success, and teaching him that, hey, if you want to lay down and relax, this is the most comfortable spot in the house or in the room. Okay, so questions. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the Facebook group or put them in the Q&A portion of the the module that you're in right now. That's probably the best spot for it. So if you have any questions, certainly do not hesitate to ask. Otherwise, you will continue learning good stuff about crate training. The next part of the crate training portion will be in practicing your crate training plan. So for now, I want you guys to just kind of, know what kind of crate you're going to use, know if you're going to try crate training, which again, even if you don't think you are going to need it personally, I would highly recommend that you still do it, because your dog is eventually going to have to be kenneled or crated in some way. It's very rare that a dog goes through its entire life, especially with the way that veterinary offices and groomers and stuff, the way that they are set up now. It's very rare that your dog can get through an entire lifetime without ever having to be crated. So it is worth teaching them, because we don't want that in itself to be the stressor for them. Okay? Thank you.